Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Mslonda, and you are tuned in to Sip and Talk. Tonight, we have a great show for you, but let me introduce my guest and my co host for the evening. So, welcome, my co host, Miss Sneed. Welcome, Podcast Lit Boom and podcast producer, Laquita. Hello, everyone. How's your night going?
What's going on? What's going
It's
on?
going good.
It's going pretty good so
All
far.
right. So, tonight, we are discussing, do marginalized groups oppress others? I chose this topic because I feel like a lot of times, how can I say it? When certain laws and such is put into place, I feel like things are taken way out of content. Just to throw a little example out there, like, you know how when you were younger and you would always use, I'm gonna go tell my mama, and because you knew that was gonna scare somebody, in that sense. So I'm speaking in that sense. Certain things that may take place, a lot of times people, just take certain things out of content and kind of use it as a negative weapon, sort of say. All right. So how do you ladies and gent feel about that?
Well, it's getting on my nerves. For real, dog, for real. Because now they playing with these kids' mind, and it ain't right. And I'm talking about different things in life. It's okay to be who you are, and I don't judge nobody for what you are or what you do. But I think it's a time out for all this stuff that's going on. You know, yeah, it's just too much. It's totally too much for me because now kids is picking up on this behavior. And when we was growing up, we weren't taught this type of behavior. We was taught different things. And now it's just like it's just the society just don't care about our kids no more. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it pissed me off when my son and they're talking about, hey guys, I can talk like a girl. No, you can't. No, you cannot talk like no damn girl. So where's this coming from if it ain't being brought up in the school because it ain't been brought up at home and he don't go nowhere but to school. So what is y'all teaching these kids in school for him talking about he can talk like a girl? So it's too much. It ain't right. It's not right to our kids. It's not. So that's my thoughts about it.
What's your take on that, Boom?
All right. Well, as far as the marginalized oppression, I guess I try and look at. We had a previous conversation. I try and look at everything like from everybody's point of view. Even if I can't feel the shoes, I try to. Excuse me. So it's like if I'm driving on the street and somebody in front of me is older of age, and I say, "Get your old ass out of my way," does that make me like hate old people? Is that a hate crime towards old people? You know what
No.
I'm saying? But if a white person drive down the street and say, "Get your black ass out of my way," they automatically racist, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but ain't that almost the same thing?
It's almost the same thing. So what's
And
the
I was
difference?
gonna speak on that tonight and say that, a lot of times I feel like white people get oppressed too because, okay, for instance, say you get fired, a person gets fired, right? Oh, they fired me because I'm black. So it didn't have nothing to do with them 4 packs of chicken tenders you put in your bag before you punched out. You know what I'm saying? People do these type of things and use stuff for excuse for what they've done. So that's where I'm kind of like going with it.
I think that the excuses are real. I understand the excuses. I don't. I heard a lot of black people say, "Well, slavery and the history of blacks didn't really have too much to do with them because we got to change now." But I don't think they see how much it's set up. When we say it's set up for us to lose, like I don't think that our people see how much it is set up. They just see, oh, I can get a good job now. Like we're not understanding that. Oh, you making like look, we only make $20 a piece up in this house. You know what I'm saying, an hour, but it's people that make $50, $60 an hour. That's nothing because it's people who really making 30,000 every 40 seconds or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? They really get into it, but they're not gonna give us that information. So we good with our little $2,000 a month rent. Oh, we got a nice house, $2,000, $3,000 a month rent. When there's people who pay 50,000, 60,000 a month, we don't even know how to get there. You know what I'm saying? But we don't see that because we content with, oh, it's okay, everything okay. But we not leaving nothing for ours. You know what I'm saying? We not leaving nothing that ours can grow off of. All they know is to go work for somebody else. So I think that with the oppression in the marginalized groups, I mean, it's like we can even exclude white people, natives, or whoever, and just talk about blacks. You got smart blacks and you got thugs. You know what I'm saying? When we go into our own marginalized groups, and it's like, do we really bully our smart ones and call them nerds, or do we big them up? You know what I'm saying? Are you not allowed to be out here because you're not tough enough? Or hey, continue being smart. And I think that we don't do that. I don't think that. I think it's like, oh, don't mess with him, he a nerd, or he don't talk to nobody, he a nerd, like, and instantly put him down instead of saying, no, dude, smart, like, you know, or oh, girl, smart. So I think that we got a lot to cover within ourselves before we even worry about like other races, because white people, they I won't say that they was born racist. They definitely was taught it, but they not gonna get the same treatment that we gonna get regardless of what they was taught. No matter if they don't care about the black situation or if they do, they still not gonna get the straight. You could be all out black pride as a white person, but you still gonna get better opportunities than the next person just because you're white anyways. And so we have to put ourselves in a position. Me personally, I feel like we have to put ourselves in a position that gives ourselves opportunities, if that makes sense. I hope I ain't dragging it, but if that makes sense. I feel like we just have to put ourselves in better position to give ourselves more opportunity and stop worrying about somebody else giving us opportunity or discriminating against us over a word or a name. Like, you know, it's like we begging to get into somebody else's business instead of just creating our own. If that makes sense. I hope
It
it does.
makes a lot of sense, but with the population is the way it is, how can you grow into business with one another when black people don't want to see black people grow? Let's keep
That's
it
what we,
real.
and that's the
Black people don't
marginalized
want to
group on
see
the
the next.
inside.
It's always like on school days, like Clark said, he the head nigga in charge. It's always somebody want to be the head nigga in charge. Why? Why can't we? We've been through this for so long. Why do we constantly disgrade ourselves like this? Why we just can't grow like the rest of everybody? Why we can't be a winning team? Why we can't grow?
Yeah.
Why we can't be like these other cultures out here? Because they sticking together. The Chinese, the Hmong, Somalians, the Mexicans, all of them sticking together, but us. Why?
I think it's because of what we was taught. Go ahead, though. I'm my bad. But I do think it was because of what we was taught. But go ahead.
And that's why the cycle needs somebody needs to, that's why the cycle needs to change, because everybody know all black families had a curse on them. I don't know if people believe this or not, but we all know this, the generation curse amongst black folks. We got to quit playing with this curse and move on. Because if we don't change, who's gonna change it for our kids? It's just gonna keep going and going and going. When did the cycle stop?
And that's what I'm saying. It's just like, it's just so easy as a person can say that out of their mouths. It's like, okay, don't y'all know, like, okay, that's where it starts. Like, don't talk about it, be about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I don't understand what it is with our culture. If somebody starts something and they want to bring somebody else on, they don't want to support because they feel like that should have been them. You know what I'm saying? They're looking at it from the wrong aspect. It's like we all can do this together and support each other and come up. But they just don't look at it like that.
And I want to jump in here too. And I was, oh, there we go. Before I think we need to go into other cultures, we need to focus in on our culture and then branch out, because it's easy to point the finger outward than to point the finger inward. So we've never been white a day in our life. So why in the world are we talking about them and trying to solve their
Right,
problems?
we need to focus on us. Right.
it's
Yeah,
almost like we're
exactly.
crying. It's almost like we're crying, you know, to
Mm-hmm.
me.
Yeah, and what I was going to say too, going back to what Miss Lee said earlier, she was talking about like a situation with her son, and then he's getting stuff from school from his friends or whatever. But one of the things, if we're talking about solving this particular issue, what we have to get to is like we can't really change the older people. They're stuck in their ways. That they whatever, and it's like we just gonna pray for them, put our hand out to the front of the church and just pray for them. But then we can need to start on a collective basis, meaning that it's a whole lot of us getting together and teaching our children the right way. And the reason why, like I think podcast lit.
Oh, you can call me Boom
Boom.
or
Okay, I'm
Boomer.
so sorry, I forgot
All
just
right.
that quick. But he was saying something, and I was just like, we definitely have to get to the point where oh yeah, when you were talking about being, calling each other nerds. I was calling nerd my whole life because I was smart, and I was like, but isn't being smart a good thing? Then I always talk quote unquote proper. Oh, why are you talking white? So it's like out of their insecurities for themselves, they were lashing
Like,
out at me to try to make me go back down into this negative deal so I can stay here in the hood with them and then struggle with them. And it's like, ain't nobody got time to be in the hood if I can get out. And even last year, crazy thing, this man literally came into one of my rooms, heard me speaking or whatever. And, I know what I'm talking about probably 100% of the time. And he was like, "Oh, you're not a nigga." And I was like, the gall of this unknown person, like it's another black guy talking, "Oh, you're not a nigga." And I was like, what like what inspired you to even open up your black lips and actually say that to me? Because it's like I didn't ask you to define who I am because I have already defined myself. I've determined what I was going to be. And right now I'm determining that you don't need to be in my room, so you can leave, you know. And I had the power because I was running the room. So, but it's just like we are always so divisive towards each other, and I think that's what Miss Londa had in mind when she was doing this room. It's like if I'm a black woman, I'm all the way at the bottom of the totem pole in the world. Black, then it's black men, then it's other groups, individually or whatever, with men always on the top,
Oh
women on
no.
the bottom. No, but I'm serious because it's like I'm a woman, so that makes me a quote unquote minority, and I'm black, that makes me a quote unquote minority. Whether it's you as a black man, oh yeah, and I'm also poor, I ain't got no money. So so I'm two out of the three, and three out of three, and you two out of three. So we just have to be
I
mindful of
think
that.
we 3 out of 3 too, though.
But I'm like, if you want to be on the bottom, you can stay there. I'm trying to get to the top. But
Amen.
yeah, but I think that we just need to make a more concerted effort to actually teach loving ourselves, not demeaning each other, and then teaching it to the young, like Miss Lee was mentioning in the beginning. We have to teach our young, and then when they grow up 10 years later, 20 years later, then we can actually make some change.
Well, then the
because
question becomes, if we are teaching our young, what are we teaching them? I don't want to say that because we all raised not to mind our business. I'm pretty sure. And just real quick to elaborate on you, I never was called a nerd. I was probably the person who laughed at the nerds because of what I was around. My friends,
Oh,
my
don't laugh at me, Boom. Don't laugh at me.
listen. One of my biggest issues with growing up in life is that I didn't hang with the nerds. Like I'm mad at myself to this day because I didn't hang with the nerds. So that was a thing for me. Like, damn, I can't believe I would be like laughing at people for being smart. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I was around. Everybody else was telling me like, don't them books ain't gonna do nothing for you and la la la. So you know what I'm saying? When I see people in the books, I'm like, ha ha ha. I'm being taught. So that's why I said, what are we going to teach them? Because at this point, especially with the black culture, we keep our business out of everybody else's business. So you could be in here teaching your child this, and I could be in here teaching my child that, and then they still clashing because they still not being taught the correct stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or I ain't even gonna say correct because who's to say it's correct, but the same stuff.
So when it comes to teaching them about you know, like what's not somebody's business, then you got to know, you got to teach them what's actually not somebody's business and what's okay to share. Because if you're
Mm-hmm.
sharing learning experiences, that's okay. But you know, when it comes to certain types of personal business, you know, you kind of got to, you know, teach them how to draw that line.
So
If you
okay, so
get
what
where
about
I'm going.
Right. I teach mine's different. I'm hardcore. I'm gangster. I don't care. I tell them real. I ain't lying to you. I'm telling y'all the truth. I tell them the real. Don't open your mouth. Them people don't care about y'all. They don't care about y'all. They gonna put y'all somewhere else, and them people gonna bruise y'all, rape y'all, beat y'all,
Now, see,
manipulate
when
y'all.
you're speaking though, you speaking of those people, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but we
Cause
talking
he
about
said,
culture.
yeah,
"Oh,
we
we
talking
talking
about
about
that's
who?"
right. How do we do our children? How do we do our children? Like today, me and you just met, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you respond to me on a personal level? And I'm like, and you don't even have to speak personal. I'm gonna say, how do you think a person of our culture will respond to me if I check their child, meeting them today in the first 5-10 minutes, if I check their child about saying something crazy on the video game? If I just boy, don't ever say nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? If I just come at him crazy or whatever, like checking, how do you
And you
think a
wanna know
person?
what I say? I say, what he say, y'all? Oh, well, he told y'all right. That's what's up. He told
Yes,
y'all last right. I
that's
ain't
what
got
we'll
Is
time
do.
to
that
do
how the
that.
And
community
then you
really
got
work?
some
Because we got
parents
these.
that'll snap out.
There you go. We got those
You
parents that'll
got
be like,
some
don't ever
parents
say
that'll
that to my
snap out.
child.
Well, nah, them petty, well, I'm not gonna say petty parents. Them parents that don't know nobody. Once again, we're trying to break the cycle.
Yeah,
You
and
feel
I
me?
Exactly.
get into that. I want that old school shit to come back like when I was growing
Right.
up. I knew if I went in a store and I see Miss Rosa, if I picked up that candy bar and put it in my
And
pocket, my mama was gonna find out. She was gonna whoop my ass, and my mom was gonna.
mm-hmm.
So I
Not
want
Miss
them days
Rosa.
to come
Everybody
back
down the
where
street.
children feared adults. You know what I'm saying? Not because they was gonna be abused, but because they knew they was gonna get that discipline.
Hey guys, let me give y'all an example of what y'all are talking about and how I was treated. So, my daughter and I were we were going into a store out here called Fiesta, and so we were out at Fiesta, and I noticed when I was going in that there were two or three little kids, like elementary school age kids, in the car with the windows rolled all the way up. Now, granted, it was nighttime, but out here it's hot almost all the time. So it was a hot day. The window, all the four of the windows were all the way up. So when I went in there, like I'm not, we were in the hood, so I'm not going to to the car or whatever. But I was like parked like right in front of them so I could see them. So I went into the store and I told the manager that described the car. I said these are kids out here in the car with no parent or whatever. The manager came out looking at the car, and so I was showing them what I was talking about. And the mom came out was cursing me all the way out, and I need to mind my fill in the blank business. And I ain't nothing but a fill in the blank. And like she
Wow.
literally chased me. Like when we left the store, she literally chased me all the way around the neighborhood. I wouldn't even go home for like 30 or 40 minutes after that because she was chasing me. And I didn't know if she had a gun in the car, if she called somebody on the way, literally because I'm trying to make sure that her kids were safe because she didn't do it.
Yeah.
And that come from because. Go ahead, Miss Line. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say it's hard to because you know when you are a parent and you see like that situation you saw, it's like a natural motherly instinct to
Mm-hmm.
want to chime in, but it's hard to do that nowadays because like she said, look how she reacted. I'm just trying to
Right.
look out for your child, you know what I'm saying, and keep you from possibly, maybe it could have been a police officer that rolled up and seen
Mm-hmm.
your child in the car by themselves, and then bam, now you got to deal with these people.
And you
It's
still gonna
hard
try and
to
blame the
like
community
have
for not
those
being
type
there.
of, huh?
I said, then you still gonna try and blame the community for not being there. So it's a lose lose.
Yeah.
Really? And,
And that
and then that's the whole idea of the village mentality. Like it
Mm-hmm.
takes a village to raise a child, but one of the things that, because I think Boone mentioned slavery. Like that's one of the things that happened as a part of our colonization and us being forced over here is that we went from being a village where everybody cared about one another. Everybody, like in Mslonda's situation, if she acted out and Miss Rosa saw her, Miss Rosa was gonna get to her behind before her mama got to her behind, right?
Facts.
But then it's like now we're several individual houses on the street where everybody mind the business of the household, as opposed to minding the business of the entire community. And until we can get to the point where Boom was saying that we all are teaching our kids the same thing and we become unified just like all of the other groups are unified. That's why other groups are moving ahead of us because we still up here trying to fight the light skins. We trying to fight that. We
There
trying
you
to
go.
fight
You
the
sure
dark
saying it
skins.
right, right. They still jealous over the light skinned people. But
Who,
don't
who,
hate
wait,
me
who's
because I'm
jealous
like,
of the light skin?
fuck y'all want me to do. I can't help I'm light skinned.
You said I can't
You
help
ain't
it.
light
I got to
skinned,
be.
girl.
I got to be
You
in the
are
house. I
the
can't help
mocha.
it.
But hold up, who's against the light skins though?
No, but
You know
like
they got to be. You know they got to be in the house. You know what I'm saying? They was the ones who got to be in the house,
Oh,
get the first
that
sip
Right,
of the
the house
lemonade.
Negroes.
right.
You know what I'm saying? They got to get the first pick all the time. You know what I'm
All
saying?
the time.
But
This
nah. Let me
is
just say this because
hilarious.
I'm gonna need a little bit of enlightenment. I'm kind of glad that I'm here with all you ladies, women, because I'm about to say something that maybe is about to grind y'all real quick. All right,
Oh,
so I
let me
want y'all to know
unmute.
that this is some information that I
I just went.
and I'm ready for it though. That's why I'm about to say it to y'all because I'm ready for it because I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I came up off of the information that I got. Now we supposedly got our slave we supposedly got free from slavery in 1865, 1867 in Texas, whatever. But the first people to get their rights afterwards was the women. Now, these black men was definitely no, I'm wrong.
Yeah, 1870, black men had the right to vote, but 1920 is when women got the right to vote all the way across the board, like racially.
So we talking about women's rights, or we talking about just the right to vote?
Well, the 1865 was when black people were free under the
Right.
13th Amendment, and then 1875 years later is when men had the right to vote. So even though we all got free under the 13th Amendment, besides the people in Galveston, Texas, what were they doing? But um, as far as the next freedom, quote unquote, was in 1870 when men got the right to vote. Black men got the right to vote.
So we got our right to vote, and that's basically when we started doing like because we was Republican first, right? That's what we was doing. We
Yeah, because the
Yeah,
platforms were different.
and then
yeah.
even with that, they was like not even putting in all our votes or whatever. They was like playing us on our votes or whatever, however that works. They still do that today, but okay, because that's what I was saying. Because I was really feeling like the women's rights was really more powerful than the civil rights. Am I a little bit off on that?
Why do you say that?
Mhm.
Because as a woman, I feel that y'all, and this is probably gonna sound a little sexist, but I feel that y'all have a look to where when y'all walk into a building, just because of y'all looks alone, a person might give y'all an advantage that they would give a male, especially a black male. I feel that if a black woman look good, she could look, she could be black as whatever, but if she look good to this racist white man in some type of power, he gonna plug her way before he plugged this man that is in a business. I really feel like that. I can come dressed
Oh
to.
I kind of disagree with that. I
no.
kind of feel like when it comes to women, it's just like we just have that mentality like we're just not going to take no, or we're just not going to
Mhm.
be pushed away. And I just think our strongness and being in our situation, like for instance, say if I'm a single woman and I got 3 kids and I go to get help, I'm just not going to just let you turn me away without giving me a real reason why you're turning me away. I'm going to fight for what I want. You know
And
what
you
I'm
don't
saying?
think that we
And
do that?
y'all might do, but I feel like a lot of times men need that woman to stand behind them and tell and guide them in the right direction to tell them how to go about it. If you feel what I'm saying.
I understand that, but okay. So because the point I'm trying to get to is I think that as because we still talking about marginalized groups, and if we talking about our culture, there's still a
Mhm.
marginalized group, men and women. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm looking at like I think that as men, we don't we don't necessarily get dressed up to go out for other men. Like, you know what I'm saying? We go out because we want a woman to look at us and see that we look successful or whatever, you know. Um, and I think that a lot of times these women accept these men not based on their priorities or their morals. I think they accept them based on their success. You know what I'm saying? So a person can be successful and have low priorities and morals. And so it's like, do you ask this man, is he making sure that his grandmother have a banister when she walking out her house, or do you just care about what type of car that he have? And I think a lot of times the men that just had a good car that don't buy their grandmother's banisters get chosen in our culture.
But I think
That's big. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, I think it's like two separate types of arguments here because I think when you started out, instead of us being worried on the.
Debates, because I'm getting knowledge. I ain't saying I'm right. I'm just getting knowledge.
Okay. Yeah, but what I was saying was, it's like, I think instead of us focusing so low on the lower scale, we need to think about the higher scale. Like, I don't care about when I go into a business to try to do business. What I care about is when I go into a job or a place of employment, and then my pay is automatically, just because I'm a woman, is automatically 3/4 compared to 4/4 of a man, to a whole. And like, and then
But
that's the real problem. I don't care about this racist white man thinking that I'm fine and I'm sexy. I know that, you know.
Right.
I don't have a man, but I know that. I don't need a racist white man to tell me that. But it's just like,
Right.
but that's what I wanted to say, because it's like, and then even on a smaller scale, I think that the way that we have been raised in the past, say 40 years, it's like, yeah, we want a man who has a car, who has a job, has a house of his own. But I think the idea of it, when that was kind of instilled into their minds, to have, he got to have a house, he got to have a car, he got to have a good job or whatever, and so he can be stable. So
he
he
don't
can
have
be,
to make sure
because
that
if he
his
can't.
grandmother have
No,
a
no, but what,
banister
what
to
I'm
walk
saying is, it's
downstairs.
like, I think that, I mean, that was the idea of it, is so you can get a man that's stable. Because if you got a man that living with his mama and he's okay with that, what's gonna happen when y'all start having babies? The grandbaby's gonna come stay with Meemaw too, and ain't nobody got time for that. But what I'm
Exactly.
saying is that was the idea of it when it was taught. But then as the generations went on, they started being kind of like gold diggerish, to where they just wanted a man with this much money and this,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And I think the message got misconstrued.
Yeah,
You're
And I
right.
think that as
I
Yeah.
us
agree.
men,
I agree.
because and I think that as men, because we want something like we, and like you said, y'all put the want into having a job. You say you might be a single mother with 3 kids, and you gonna do everything you can to get this job. And I think that that's how we think towards the women. Like, we're gonna do everything we can to get this woman. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think that if the mentality of the women, personal opinion, I think that if the mentality of the women of our culture became that, I think that then the men would then follow, because it wouldn't become getting this money to flex or show off. It would become getting this money to show that I can take care of my family. And then, you see what I'm saying? And I think that that's what we
Mm-hmm.
all start looking towards. So even if I am selling dope because I have no choice, it's not because I'm trying to flex on the next person. It's because I'm trying to eat for my family. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And I
And
think
that's
Yeah.
and yeah, and that's what a part of that teaching that we were talking about in the beginning.
There
That's what
you
we
go.
have to get our kids to the point of realizing, that even though selling dope or whatever out there, it'll make you some fast money. But then think about the destination of a lot of people who make it, because a lot of
Mhm.
people who are dope dealers and stuff, they don't make it out of the game alive. And if we can instill in our kids that, hey, I know your daddy is not here. I know mama's working 2 and 3 jobs to make sure that we have a roof over our heads and all of our needs met or whatever. I know we're on food stamps and welfare. We can still make it. You don't have to go out there. Let mama do her job. My job is to provide for you. It's not your job as a kid or a young person, like, a teenager or whatever, to take care of the household. It's my job. And if I can't do it, I'll get on government assistance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, you know where I think we start with that? I think that we start with our teenage daughters. I think that we get us a building, we get a grown adult over there to oversee it all, but we put all our kids in daycare while we at work. All our kids should be in the same daycare in the community starting. And then that way our young daughters get some type of money. They're getting paid to watch our kids. So everybody, we I think that we could start with that, like as far as that goes. But like I'm trying to figure out like how do we even start to make the community get on the road.
It starts within your family. 'Cause
It's
just like
not right.
with me, when I was working, my mom watched my kids. I signed her up through the state. She got paid for childcare services. And that's how we did it. You know what I'm saying? That was so much easier on me to be able to get up and just get dressed and go to work and not have to, worry about getting the kids to daycare on the bus. And you know what I'm saying? That like
Right.
if you can start a community like that, just with like for me, for instance, I work from home. I'm here. I can watch, kids, for whoever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how it starts. You got to start a community. You got to build a community. We got to try to support one another and stop feeling like, some people have that attitude like I'm not gonna let her get paid off my kids. Where you're looking at it the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? You're looking. I don't understand that mentality because I didn't have that mentality with my mom. She got paid to watch my kids, and she did above and beyond. To be honest, I came home from work, dinner was done. I ain't have to do shit but take a shower and really go to bed. Honestly, you know what I'm
And
saying?
I love what you said. I love what you said that how you help her get set up with the state.
Yeah,
Like that's taking it to another level. So if your mom decided to do the same thing that she was doing for your child and do it for other kids in the community, that was a business for her that she could have
yeah.
gone into. So, and even with that, most I have never like right hand to God. I have never ever heard anybody say that they did that for their parents for watching their kids. They won't even give Mama Mima some diapers. They won't give Mima
Because
some
here's
milk.
the thing: my mom drove the school bus, but they got that downtime. In the summer, so that was like that extra money that she was missing for them few months. You know what I'm like? It's like I look at it like I'm scratching your back, you scratch mine. We're helping each other. We're supporting each other. But yeah,
I absolutely love that. And, we need to make that a
can't do
whole
nothing to
movement across the United States. Yes.
yeah.
Definitely putting our people on. Definitely, I understand that. I understand that.
And I
Like
like
for
even too what you
example, when
said
we
too.
was in a storm, when the storm happened here in 2011, I was in the worst zone. We was on Logan and Lowry, and boy, it was so crazy out there. All I did was went out there and held up a sign with a sad face and said we was hungry. And I swear to God, I don't know where all them people came from, but I say that to say I did that for the community. You know, I got so much food and donations, and my house was the trap house because my house, out of every house on the block, was the only house standing. My house. Out of
Wow.
all the houses, my house was the only one standing. And that was a blessing to me. You know what I'm saying? So to go out there and hold that sign for them community to feed, it's in the newspaper. I posted up on Facebook. I'm in the article. I'm on the front page of the newspaper. Out there helping the community, getting that food. Didn't worry about who got it or how you got it. It was people coming from places where the storm didn't even touch yet, taking the stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
when do it just yeah, it comes within us. We got to yeah,
So
because you got to get people out here. You
I
got to
got
get
It's
people
that
probably
village
like me,
mindset.
you. We would be the ones that try to start the community, but then you always know it's like I said, it's always that one head nigga in charge. It's always that demon that got to come and try to throw it down. So
yeah.
where do we go? Like you said, if we know these spirits is attacking us and we know what to look for, how do we change that? Like you said, how do we teach our kids? How do we, yeah, how
You
we
gotta
change it?
pray. There's always red flags. And I feel like I'm so prone to realizing red flags right now so much I've been through that when I see them, it's like, and I do it quietly. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a confrontational person. I'm not gonna come to you. I'm just gonna cut you off, move along. and you'll just be wondering like, damn, I ain't, yeah, you, but you know why, so stop wondering. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta weed the bad people out, and if you find good people, then those are the people that you hold on to, and those are the people that you try to grow with.
Mm-hmm.
I got a comment, Mommy and Peanut Time on YouTube. Hello, anyone that babysits for family is a blessing. Some will watch for free, but some probably won't. But either way, if you took the kids to a daycare center, you would pay more, and yes, you would.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely would. So if you just say, for instance, if you got somebody that maybe receives disability, but they just kind of need that little extra change, and maybe they only want to charge like maybe $60 a week, you are winning.
You winning.
You are
Exactly.
winning.
Because that daycare, you gonna pay more than that 60.
Yes.
So what I was getting to on that, like, okay, so maybe like 10 years back, I had tried to, me and my people had tried to buy like this little building. We was going to do like little bets on video games and stuff like that in and out the building, but it could have been so much more, but it didn't go nowhere. Right. Basically what I was getting at is like, if we put the money into our own babysitter's pocket. So like you were saying, with your mom doing it. But if there was like a community building where your mom could have been there or our moms could have been there, you know what I'm saying, to where all the community kids could be there, then they all grow up together. There's probably no reason. They might have their own little potato chip fights, you know, popsicle fights. But for the most part, we done grew up together. Y'all might go to a school on the whole other side. But everybody know, even if I work way out, I'm dropping my kids off at this center because this is the community center. I know the mama's daughter who's gonna be there. I know the daddy's daughter who's gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's where now we putting money into our daughters and kids' pockets, and then we still keep it in the community because we not gonna have no problem with buying food. You know what I'm saying? That's going towards this community anyway. So not only am I gonna be giving you little $60 a week for this building, each one of us in the community. But now I'm gonna throw an extra 40 in for the food, each one of us in this community. Now we only throwing in $100 maybe a week or a month. Everybody in the community, which comes up to about just for the building itself. And that's just us. Which means if we making more money or got extra, we can branch off and branch off and branch off. But I just don't know like where to start or who to even start talking to, because again, somebody get their money like Mem said, like I'm the head nigga in charge. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you come to me talking about put your money in. All right, I'll put my money in, but this what we gonna do. Like, I ain't even trying to hear what anybody talking about.
I think was it you, Laquita, that gave me the idea of starting like a Facebook group for that? Like, because I'm on a limited income, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mind, watching people's kids. If somebody need me to get their kid on and off the bus, I can do, I don't mind. And I'm not charging a lot because this is just extra money in my pocket to do other little things that I got going on that cost, you know what I'm saying? So I don't mind, you know what I'm saying?
And it should be a big movement just for everybody in different cities. Like, it should be something that everybody in our culture definitely try. So that way we know our kids are getting home safe. We know our kids got somewhere to go that's safe, because a lot of times it's just guidance, man. I'm seeing a lot of people out here being drugged up. And so they doing weird stuff anyways, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it was a blessing for my mom to watch my kids, because when I did have them in daycare, and my daughter told me, which, okay, her ass probably should have been on that damn cot taking a nap. But at the same time, I didn't give you permission to tap my child. And then my son, they made him stand in the corner because he cried. Okay, this was his first time being in daycare. You have to work with him. Detachment is, what you gonna make him stand in the corner? Where do they do that in a daycare?
So they ain't gonna get that real love anyway.
Knowing that they was with my mom, even though my mom was gonna mess them up, but she was gonna mess them up for their own good. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole difference. But I knew they were.
Plus,
safe.
I really care about you. If something happens to you, I'm really caring about you. I'm there for you every day, compared to they got her to take care.
Door without my permission and something happened, then I gotta hear your mama mouth. So Nick, I'm finna mess your ass up before your mom. That type of shit.
And y'all, let me just put some Black history in. Y'all mind?
Don't mind.
Do y'all know where WIC came from? WIC.
WIC. Or WIC.
WIC.
Milk and cheese and stuff.
Yeah.
Focus out.
Black Panthers.
Well, yeah.
Black Panthers
But
out there
then
in
the Focus Hope
California.
come from Black Panthers too. It's all the
Um,
same, right?
Yeah, it's all the same. So what
Right.
was happening in 1966 when the Black Panthers were created and stuff, the government was really mad at what they were doing. They are standing up for their rights, they're standing up for themselves or whatever. They knew their gun rights, they knew the law and whatever, so they didn't like that. So they started stripping them of any type of government assistance, anything that they possibly could. So they would the Black Panthers, they started having this breakfast program where they would actually get together as a black community and feed all of the kids all breakfast. They would feed them lunch, dinner, or whatever they needed. They got pooled together their food and money and stuff, just like Boone was saying. They did that back in the 60s and they were successful at it to the point where the government took that idea, made it into the free lunch program, made it into WIC and stuff that we're actually using right
Like
now.
they took all our other ideas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly, and then they put their name on it. And you know how they love to
Because they
do
got the most money, right? Whoever got the most.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so we know that that process works, but who's going to be dedicated enough to actually do it, to make sure that we can do it where in our own community? Like I'm all the way over here in the Midwest, or whatever. You all are in three other places. What can each of us do to make sure that we can have start with a smaller committee of folks to make sure that we can do it within our own communities
We
until
can
the
all
process.
like me and Miss Sneed is here in Minnesota, right? If me and
Mhm.
Miss Sneed got together, say for like summer when school is out, if we
Yeah.
got together and together a program and just say we just get donations for food for kids to come and eat while they're, where they can come and eat lunch. You know what I'm saying? Parents is at work, because let me tell y'all something. Those programs were in place when I was raising my kids. And it was a church that I don't know if you remember this church, Miss Sneed, but it was a church that my kids would go to. So they would get out of school, they would go home. This was the routine that I had them on. They would go home, they would change from their uniforms. 5:30, they would walk up to the church together and they would eat. By the time it was time for me to get off work, I
Mm-hmm.
met them at the church. We called it the eating church. But that was like such a big, you just don't know how much that helped. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because you got them hours that you're at work, and sometimes you might not even get off in time enough. They would go to the church and they would walk back home, and then they would be in that house with that door locked until, you know what I'm saying, I got home. But programs
Mm-hmm.
like that help a lot of
Yep.
single parents. In those school lunch, the summertime lunches at the park where they could go eat free at the park, those are a big help, because you got a lot of single parents that have to get up early in the morning and go to work, and them kids is at home all day. You know what I'm saying? They have to fend for themselves because they don't have that support. So we need to start coming together and creating some of them programs again, just within our community.
I'm glad they came out for that with that support with the food for the kids, parents who just don't care. Period. I'm so happy they got it out there for them. And this summer, since all this stuff going on, I just hope that they still have some like the programs going on for these kids to keep their mind occupied and stuff.
And I was gonna speak on that too, because what about the less fortunate? Like, man, some people had their moms, some people didn't. Some people had their dad, some people didn't. You know what I'm saying? Some people had both, and some people didn't never know them.
Hmm.
Dropped off at an orphanage. Um, that could definitely be part of the mental aspect, because we don't look at them as the needy. I guess we just look at them. I don't know how we look at them really, because I hear stories about people, and sometimes I'll be like, man, I'm in a messed up position myself. I can't even help you. But at the same
Yeah.
time,
Right.
it's like, damn, how do we help them though? Because
But I
everybody don't
think
got the
that,
same advantages.
yeah, I think that if we go back to that village mindset, it might sound cliche, but if you are in a village, nobody in the village goes hungry. Nobody should be hungry. So if I know Miss Need is she got another week before she get her next paycheck, and then but she needs to feed somebody her family, that means that hey, I got other food over here. Um yeah, I have extra food over here, so I'm gonna take it over there. Or I got extra money, so I'm gonna maybe give her my debit card and go to the store with her to buy some food that's gonna carry her over. Because why? She's a part of the village. Now,
Yeah.
just like Bo said earlier, hey, if other communities can do it and come together and support one another, why can't we? We're the only group of people on this earth that's not elevating, advancing, going to that next level. This is the key reason why, because we want to stay as individual houses on the street instead of realizing that we are all together in one neighborhood, one village.
You know, there used to be a guy named William on the freeway on Ocean Highway. You see him out there this summertime. He always sit out there on Ocean Highway and 7th Street. And every time I see him, and then not just him, I used to always take my food stamps and go to the grocery store and buy the homeless people food out of my food stamps and take it to them like lunch meat, bread, chips, juice, stuff that I know they can eat while they outside. And I used to do that. I still do it right now today. I done moved up from the food stamps to the cash. But you know, it just be touching my heart to see that. And if it can be more people like me out here like that, you know, not just, you know, with the kids, well, everybody, we all in need right now. We all in need right now. This is a time that
Yeah.
we need to wake up, pay attention, and if you know what life is about, then you know what life about, and you know this shit is real out here. You know, so it's time for a wake up call. You know, if COVID ain't wake us up, I don't know what's gonna wake us up.
Well,
So that's a wake up call to me.
COVID seemed like it split us apart even more because
Yeah, but you would think it would be a
Do you
wake up
think
call.
I think
do
that
you guys feel that COVID split us up?
Yes, steady.
I
I
thought
think it
it
did. I
really
would
seemed
think it would
like
wake people up, but it's not. It's not. It's not waking nobody up. Everybody
I
think.
thought that
I want to say something, Mslonda. Wait. Everybody think she froze
okay.
up. She on there? Okay. Everybody,
No,
I'm starting to listen to what these people say. We need to quit giving that devil so much credit, okay? Because half of this stuff that's going on, it ain't his doing. It is not his doing. For example, COVID. That ain't nobody but God. I'm sorry to say that all them people. No, listen to what I'm saying. Let me get to
I'm
it.
listening.
I'm sorry to say that it happens to all those people. Now that part, I don't know who part that was. But when I say it's God, I'm meaning the part to bring us together. I would think COVID would bring us African Americans together, but it's not. So it's like you said, it's divine of us. But I thought it would bring us together, but it's not.
Well, I understand you. I understand you on the God part of it. I mean, because everything. I mean, God knows everything. We're going off of that, you know. So He knew it was gonna happen before it happened. If we're gonna go off of that, but I ain't gonna get too much into the relation because me and God, we be having our
Right, we ain't gonna get into that because I don't know. I just,
I respect him. Listen, I respect him as my Father Almighty. I pray to him. I believe in him. That's me. That's what I'm going to. You know what I'm saying? But I be like, just like I got a problem with something maybe my parents say. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hold on, come on, bro. But that's a whole nother story, right? But I will say that I feel like COVID. I think that it split us more apart because first off, you know the 14 days when it first came out, staying away from everybody, and then nowadays, now after all that, it's like you can't even sneeze around somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's like
man, without somebody being paranoid. I tell you, I was at a party and they was just coughing yesterday.
Like, I was smoking weed. Like, no, you got the COVID,
So I
bro.
don't say nothing. I'm like, okay, maybe it's the weed.
That's one thing
you
that's
get
going
that
out.
itch in your throat. You get that itch in your throat, and I'm standing in line in Burlington, and I'm just like, because I don't want to cough out loud.
And then look, Miss Nana be choking, throat be itching like a mug because you can't get it out.
Where's the water?
Eyes get the water in and stuff. Lord, I know.
So,
or when you try to take those little small coughs, like, so up your video.
Real quick,
Like, oh,
but no, man, I do think it took us apart a little bit because of that, and then you got it or whatever, man. But also because I think that it made us start actually using our brains a little bit, so it kind of was beneficial. But it made us use our brain to the point to where I think a lot. Well, I'm gonna say on a personal level again because of the people that I know. I don't know how y'all experience, but I started seeing more people wanting to get into the business aspect of life,
Thank you.
which was great.
That's
But
why I said God, because He giving us that opportunity. He giving us that breakthrough that we thought us as the colored people couldn't get. Now you got that breakthrough. You got that opportunity. Get it.
I
Go
think that's
get
the
it.
problem, and I think that that's the problem because I think that we don't know what to do with it. First off, we want to talk all these PPP loans. I don't care if they was fraud or not. If we got the money, we did got the money. If you didn't and you got it the righteous way, you got the money. Either way, we got the money and we didn't put it together like I felt like we should have personally. Whoever did what they were supposed to do with it, kudos to them. But I don't think that we put it together. Like I was speaking on like the babysitting business. I don't think that we put it together. But I think that what we did was we started being able to get in the mind frame of owning our own and becoming our own. But we did that so much to where we pushed everybody away if it wasn't helping us. Now, how the hell are we not helping? How are we gonna want everybody to help us and we can't help nobody else because we so focused on this business?
Amen.
But what about the people
Amen.
what about a person that did try to start a business and did try to bring people aboard, but they didn't want to come on board?
Well, that's okay. So the reason I'm being you sitting here is because we went looking for people who wanted to do the same thing. I think a lot of times we go looking for the people that we know. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we can't do. We can't look for the people that we know because you can't mix business with pleasure. And my people, we've been kicking it all this time because we so cool, I felt like we can do this business together. No, the reason that we are so cool is because we kicked it and have fun together. So we need to keep it on that level. And I need to go get with some people who are on the same page as me, so then I can come back and kick it with you when I'm done doing this, and you come back and kick it with me when you're done doing that. But when we gonna support each other, if you're selling bottles of wine and I'm selling fitted caps, then hey, throw me a share, throw me a like, or throw me a little cap on your table as you selling your wine or something. I'm gonna do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But we don't do that. It's like, oh, if you ain't looking out for my caps, then you ain't with me, you don't love me. And it's just that simple. And that's not I think that's where we went wrong at it with. Like we got the right idea, but because of the COVID, we were so split apart and we sitting at home. It's like, look at my shirts, buy these. And that was it.
I'm
like,
gonna be honest, boom. I don't want to blame it on the COVID because I think even if it had been done without COVID being in place, the same mentality would still be there.
No, I won't. No, I won't because the money wasn't been there.
the money
I mean,
wouldn't
but
be
like I think what the
Mhm.
thing is that I think that COVID didn't divide us more or anything. And I don't want to say a benefit to COVID because I don't want to disrespect anybody who's lost anybody to COVID, who's had
correct.
COVID
Amen.
or anything. But I just think that since COVID happened and most people either lost their jobs, they had to go and find other little jobs. If they worked in a restaurant, oh man, they were just completely out of it. So kind of like what you all were already saying is that it brought more people into the mindset of being business oriented, having a business job, just like Antonetta was saying right here. We wanted to have a business.
That's my
We
woman.
wanted, and then we jumped out because how many times before COVID did they say, oh, you can start a business, oh, you can make some tumblers, you can make t-shirts, and you might have had some extra money left over from your taxes one year, 2019, you had the money left over, but you was too scared. You were fearful, like, oh, I don't
You
know
had
if this is
you had the money, or you just it just wasn't a priority. Other priorities.
exactly,
So COVID
exactly.
Brown got the priority then. That's what y'all saying, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
rock that
So
little,
yeah, I
yeah.
definitely agree with that because it
Yeah,
kind of forced
because
people. Yeah, it
it
forced
brought
people to
out the
start.
best and it brought out the good in those who want to be successful.
Yeah.
I ain't hating on nobody who got what they got and the business, the dreams, and all that. Because I'm still working on my little dream too. Whatever, it's gonna happen. It's a time and season for everyone. So this might not be in my season like it was for everybody else, but that's okay. That's okay.
I
but
Let's
still
understand
and
that
so but
too.
still and so I still think that even still like for me to come into your community, if I get back 100,000 and I come into the community and I'm like, well, see, you know what? I'm gonna put a barbershop right here and two of your kids cut hair. You know what I'm saying? That's beneficial to you. Now you getting, you know what I'm saying? Because now they're getting a little bit of money to where you can keep a little bit extra of your money. Or
I see what you're saying, Boom.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, Lord, for the vision. I got what you're saying now. So steady being in business with the older folks who you worried about them kids. I hear you.
Because
Yeah.
Let's
listen,
do
I'm
it
gonna
for
say
the
this.
kids.
I'm gonna say this. Listen, I'm gonna say this. Like she said earlier, we a little bit set in our ways. Most of us, you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And we gon' you either with us or against us with our mentality at this point. We can break that. We gonna break that. But of course, we done been played so much, we don't know who to
Mm-hmm.
trust. But with the
Right.
kids, I'm
You know
seeing a
you
problem with the kids. Who is gonna take care of us in these nursing homes?
these kids, we gotta treat them right so they can take us.
Yeah,
So
you
they
look.
can
I'm
treat
gonna
us
tell
right.
y'all right now. I want my kids to come visit me weekly and bring me a bottle of Moscato to the nursing home. Okay.
No,
But
I
then
want
what
them
about
out
the
there.
Hey,
village
look,
though?
I even want some of the village kids to come and take care of me. That's why I want to take care of
There
them.
you go. Because
You
listen,
feel
that's
me?
what I'm
Y'all come
saying.
on and check on Miss Sneed now.
You might want your kids to come bring you the bottle every week or whatever. But what about that 25, 23-year-old goofy who ain't get the right mentality that got to be there with you every day, forcing the pill down your throat and nobody else know about it? You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't want him in there.
You can put it
You
in my
don't.
mouth, but that don't mean I'm gonna swallow it.
I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna tell them to get him up
I'm a
out of
Taurus.
there.
I'm stubborn.
He got to go. No, you ain't gonna make me swallow nothing. Like you said, man, we gonna put it under our tongue. Yeah, we swallowed. Mm-hmm. Open your mouth and move that pill to the other side.
Amen.
You
I
gonna
feel
you
you.
gonna see my throat swallow, but there ain't no
But,
pill went down.
But ain't no pill going down.
but no, these is our future senators, our future governors,
Mhm.
our future lawyers. You know what I'm saying? Our future judges. Like,
Yeah, but this was a good one. I hear where you coming from, though, Boom, with these kids, because if we don't help them, it ain't gonna change. It's just gonna continue to go and go and go.
may
And
even
so
get
like you
worse.
said, this would have been if everybody was thinking like you thinking, hell, we probably be.
But
I don't know. We
it's not
probably would
too
have.
late.
We'll be at war right now. They'll be
We
trying to kill us.
yeah
It's not too late though. It's never too late. Yes, Antonetta. She
yeah
said that's when you say, "Lord, keep evil away from me."
Exactly.
Amen.
yeah
It's never
yeah.
too late.
That's what's up. If we can have more people like us out here, it's where we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we
That's
all
our
got to do
jobs,
our
though.
own little part, though.
But
You
see,
know,
it's
whatever our part
us.
is.
It's our generation. Where's our generation at? Because see, we know better.
Yeah.
We know what to do
Yeah.
for this next generation. Because see, our other generation is gone. It's on us now. It's our generation.
Yeah.
So
It's
we
on
the
us
ones got to,
teach the generation under us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because what we gonna do? What are we gonna? How it's already hard to talk to some of these kids nowadays.
Man, I'd be
Anyway, don't
scared to
nobody want
talk
to
to
hear you
some of these
preaching.
kids. Man, gonna shoot
Don't,
me.
don't nobody want to hear you preaching, old man. Don't nobody want to hear you preaching, old woman. I'll get out of here with that. You ain't hip. You ain't.
But even with that, like with me being a former teacher, and well, actually, I'm not in the school system, but I teach with an organization now. And even with that, it's like we have to know how to talk to children. Not, yeah, I mean,
Amen.
of course, we got to talk to them respectfully. We got to talk in the delivery, excuse me, of our message has to come in a way that they can understand it. Not they don't want to just sit in front of you for an hour and they're like, you still talking? They look over here,
That,
you still talking?
You gotta get on their
Nobody's gonna
level.
do that.
Because that's what the generation before us did. See, we on something new. See, we the stronger.
Exactly.
We
We
have
the
to
go
get on
get a
their
generation.
level.
Right. See
Exactly.
that what you just said, that was that old folks generation. That was their generation back then. See, now we on something new here. We got to keep it
Exactly.
100 with these kids because these kids,
all the way 100. They know everything. Those
they know
kids.
everything.
These
They
kids
teaching me
know
stuff.
more. I mean, I've had kids teach me some shit. I'm like, what?
Right. I ain't even heard of it. I'm like, I'm 44. Where
Hold
that
on,
come from?
y'all. Peep this. My 9-year-old niece, I swear to God, just sent me a request on Cash App for $100.
What?
Girl,
So
do
that
you
wasn't
not
mama.
know it was
No, let me
car
stop.
note time? What the hell?
Good, she
Shit,
know how to
it
work
wasn't
cash app.
$20. It wasn't $10. It was a whole $100.
She might have pushed the extra zero by accident.
Right.
She pushed
Yeah.
no damn extra. I believe that girl
Oh,
seen some Jordans or something and she wanted that $100.
Now let me tell
yeah,
y'all the
I'm sure
story
she
right
gonna
quick
do
before
it.
y'all go. Let me tell y'all the story. So my 9-year-old daughter has a friend Well, she 13. Well, she about to be 13 in May now, but at the time she was 9. She had a friend. Her friend was fighting with some other boy at the school, and she was telling me about it. So she was like, "Yeah, so the boy that's 9 years old was fighting with the girl that's 9 years old, but they both bi, right?" So she telling me that they bi. So I'm like, "They bi?" So she
They
like, "Yeah,
bad.
what, it means that basically the person likes the other person, the other." She basically trying to explain it to me like I don't know what the hell going on, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like tripping me out because I'm like sitting here listening to her. Like, first off, how do you even know this? And we don't preach this in the house, you know what I'm saying? But
See?
outside, it's a different story, you know what I'm saying? So now my only thing is to be able to explain to you the situation. Like, it's like this is what can happen, this is the possibilities. But for me to be like, it's like to like not keep it 100 with these children, like she was saying, it's just like you will look stupid. You will start looking stupid. You will really
You
start looking
better.
stupid.
And you would definitely not reach them. They'll keep on doing what they were already doing, and that
Mhm.
whole 1 hour lecture is not going to mean anything. You'll
It's
just,
not gonna be nothing,
all right
man.
then, bye
Girl, them
bye.
kids that got the kids with the dreads and the pants sagging, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. So you ain't gotta worry about me taking your time. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. The kids with the ties and the bozo that sit there praying, say, okay, we can talk. But you hood kids, I give y'all 5 minutes because I ain't trying to get hurt.
That ain't fair.
Okay.
You see what you
But
just
see,
did? You put them in a marginalized group.
see,
Yeah.
I mean, but
but
see, we understand the different complexities of us, right?
there is. It's
Oh,
so many.
man.
It's so many. It's so many. Almost like Carlton off of Bel Air,
Fresh Prince.
right?
Uh-huh.
So
Oh,
many
man.
different ones, man. It's so many
Yeah.
different ones of us. It
Yes.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that going back to the topic a little bit, I think what we have to do is like have a mutual respect for humanity. Just for
Mm-hmm.
people, just because they are people, not because they are a light skinned black person, a dark skin, or well, I like my dark skinned men though, but I haven't turned down a light skin. Anyway,
I was with you on that, Laquita. I ain't even gonna lie. I like my dark skin men
Yeah,
too.
y'all can
I
have them
do.
light skinned mans. I don't rock with them. They think they prettier than me. Shit, how you stay in the mirror longer than me?
I know, if we learn how to love humanity, like love the human in each person, then I think that that's when we're going to start elevating as a whole humanity, regardless of race, regardless of social class, economic class, whatever. That's when we're going to
Mm-hmm.
start doing it, and then since the old people, not us, because
Old people, that's
I'm not old.
discrimination.
Like, come on now, cause I ain't
No,
old.
but I'm saying, but what I was saying in the beginning though, what I was saying though was like when you get to a certain age, nobody can tell you anything. You feel like you know everything because you've lived, and I'm gonna respect you because you have lived.
Oh well,
So
yeah.
instead of me trying to teach you something and you 75, it's like I can't really teach you
You
anything. I can
can't
tell
teach
you my
me.
ideas, but you're not gonna change your mind because you've lived for 75 years, right? So,
Mhm.
but it's like we got to get to the point where we start loving the human in each person and respecting the
Mm-hmm.
human in each person. So even if you see a white, like I remember this one time here in the city I live in now, and I saw this white guy who was homeless and on the street, and I was like, oh well, I had some French fries because I stopped eating meat, and that I had just gotten from Whataburger, and then I was like, oh hey, I don't have any money because I don't carry cash. So I don't have any money, but do you want these fries that I just got from Whataburger? I don't want that. And I'm like, I'm looking at this man. I'm like, so here you are at a place of destitution. You don't have any food. You don't have any money. You're on the side of the street. And just because you're looking at me as a black person, handing you some food as a white person, you don't want my food. Now, my blackness, I'm pro-black now. And I look at my humanity. My
Mm-hmm.
humanity needed help. And even though I love them doggone fries from Whataburger because they got spicy ketchup, it's like the best ever. I literally was giving it to this man, but his racism wouldn't allow him to accept it from me. And I almost stayed right there and ate it in his face, but then I was in the turn lane to pick him up. But still, we got to see that humanity in people.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we definitely do. We definitely got to see the humanity in people, but a lot of these people, man, they have to also give off a sense of respect for the situation as well, I guess. It's like you have to understand your situation also. Like I can't be standing on the corner hungry, but then mad at the person that's giving it to me. You know what I'm saying?
You have you ever dealt with somebody that asks you for a ride and you like, well, I can't give you a ride, but I can give you bus fare and I don't do the bus. And then you look out the window because I didn't see you pull up in no type of car, but you don't do the bus.
And how you think I got my car?
Oh God.
How you think I got my car? I had to catch the bus.
You better never do me like that, because I ain't getting on no bus. I'm like, I walk.
You have a car, so I mean, it just doesn't make sense if you don't have a damn car for you to have this uppity. I don't do the bus. What the fuck do you do?
I say
you know what I'm saying?
I had a person who was way fresher than me, head to toe, asked me for a black and mild, and that didn't make sense to me.
Wait a minute, they had a what boo?
They was fresh, like they had the brand new at Gucci. They had some Gucci belt, Gucci slippers.
What?
Asked me for a black and mild. I'm like, I should be asking you for what? Asking you for a pack. What the hell?
You probably own the convenience store. What you talking about?
Your priorities are messed up, brother.
Right. So I got some comments. Mommy and Peanut Time from YouTube says, yes, this generation is so totally different from my generation. Kids nowadays seem to know a lot more because of the internet. Everything is on the internet, IG, YouTube, Facebook, you name it, it's on there. Belinda says, I was just about to say old people. Internet says, you not hungry. And she also says, you can tell the real homeless once in the ones just between basically she's saying you can tell the real homeless from the ones that just want money. And then Mommy and Peanut Time again says, with so much going on in the world today, for some it's kind of hard to be nice in a sense, but even though the world is changing every day and maybe not for the best, we still can have a sense of humanity.
Yeah, even if it's not changing for the best, we definitely can still have a sense of humanity, like Lady was saying, man. That's true.
Sometimes we just have to humble ourselves, you know. I mean,
yeah,
I don't think nobody better than nobody. You know, I go into space with it. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm
nobody's better than nobody. We all have the same problems. We all go through the same things, whether we got money or not.
We take our pants and put them on off and on like the same way. If y'all do it differently, show me, because I only know to put one leg in at a time. You know, so
yes, you guys, this was a lovely discussion, probably one of the best yet. I enjoyed you all. I enjoyed everybody who jumped in the comments. You all have a good night. Thank you for joining us. Tune in again to Sip and Talk. Have a good night. Peace.
Have a good night.
Peace. Everybody have a good night.
Okay, peace out. Deuces.